So let's talk about that real quick because Oklahoma's now beaten, is it 4 top 10 teams in the month of January? They were the tougher team. They were the more physical team. Devion Harmon looked like a All-American yesterday. So what do you make of Oklahoma? Is there any big picture stuff that you can take away from this? Is this a sign that the SEC is a mid-major conference? Was this just a result
no. That's rough.
Of Alabama like coming back to earth, and they missed a couple open shots, they missed a couple layups? It's just the regression monster hitting where they were on fire. Like, what do you make of everything that happened in Norman on Saturday afternoon?
Well, listen, the one thing I've always said about Oklahoma, and we've gone through this with their home court advantage. It's a major home court advantage. They were without Austin Reeves and another starter, but Alabama has been without Jordan Bruner, and Herb Jones, honestly, looked like he was you out there. I mean, that's how well he was moving. If you went out there and tried to guard dudes, that's what it would have looked like. I mean, Herb Jones he's limping around. He can barely move. He can't hold his position against Brady Manick in the post. He fought through it, but they were playing with 4.5 guys on the court for the most part. And again, good win for Oklahoma. Oklahoma's now caught, I mean, think about it, right? They've caught Texas and Alabama at the right time.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's not discrediting what Oklahoma did on Saturday, what they've been able to do.
Timing is everything this year. Timing is everything.
Yep. And getting 4 wins over top 10 teams, like we're not even two guys like us that are as cynical as anybody on the planet are going to chalk all that up to just being good timing. Like, it's really good wins. Like for Alabama, I'm honestly not all that worried about them. I still think that
I just think on their worst day, I worry about them on their worst day. That's my, like, they look like they came out of the gates yesterday and they look like they had gone out to a rager in Norman the night before.
Yeah. So think about it like this, right? They're playing noon tip, which was 11 a.m. local time, right? They're playing on the road in a gym that they're not used to. It is outside of the normal SEC grind. The early tip combined with the fact that like a couple guys are banged up, combined with the fact that they don't have Jordan Bruner.
Yep.
Combined with the fact they got off to a slow start. Down the stretch, they missed 2 layups and they missed 2 wide open threes. Like, this was about like the nut low performance for what we could expect out of an Alabama team. And like, they were still like 1 shot away from taking the lead in the final minute, right? Like, if they have one thing go their way, or
they hung around,
make that jumper in the lane. Like, I honestly, like, I'm not. This is just kind of what happens in college basketball. Good teams sometimes lose, so I'm not worried about any of our takes on Alabama. I still think they're really, really good. I'm not. I'm in.
I so love that you've come around on Alabama. Like, think about where you were.
They're good.
A month ago in Alabama, you hated them. Them.
Here's the thing: it wasn't so much hate as it was. They weren't performing. And here's the other thing: like, I mean, Nate's talked about this, right? They had to have a sit down at one point to kind of, and I don't know, like, if all of the names are specifically out there, but they basically had to sit down and had a come to Jesus moment where, like, do you guys want to be here? Do you guys want to play? Like, what do you want to do? Like, what are we going to do this year? Do you want to have a special season? And like, there were guys that were suspended for a game, and they were like, basically like, hey, take a week, go figure out if you really want to be here. And then they decided they wanted to be there, and things turned around. So like, I don't think that you were wrong for being in on the amount of talent that they had. I don't think that I was wrong for being out on the product that we were seeing on the court.
Yeah.
Once the product matched the talent, then it's like, okay, look, now we're cooking with peanut oil. Now we're good to go.
I've seen John Petty enough. I've always felt like, again, if you got a consistent John Petty, you're talking about an all-league guy, a first-team all-league guy. Herb Jones, I've always absolutely loved. First time I saw him was at – where the hell did I see him play? At Alabama, maybe? I went down there. Yeah, I went to Auburn in Alabama. And the first time – it was his freshman year, and I fell in love with him. Absolutely fell in love with him. I think they were playing LSU. And, again, like, the key for me, still a little bit of a concern is point guard play. A little bit. Like, I need Quinterly to get better. Yeah, I hear you. I love the
the lineups where Herb Jones basically plays as the playmaker.
Yeah.
Like when you have Herb Jones out there with Josh Primo,
but not yesterday. Not when Herb Jones can't move.
Oh no! Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm just talking about like in theory when you have Herb Jones out there with Josh Primo, so you have like two kind of playmakers where you can run the offense through Herb. Everybody on the perimeter is like 6'4" and athletic. Like all of a sudden they become like a really dangerous team. All right, a lot of other stuff happened yesterday, so let's kind of bounce around here
quickly.
I think for me, the biggest thing outside of Alabama, Oklahoma was kind of the rest of the SEC Big 12 Challenge.